Hey, good morning. It's kind of late. It's like 9:11. Anyway, this is the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show, and I am Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach. And if you got little notifications, if you rang the bell, I just got a notification popped up on my computer here, and got one on my phone. I heard it buzz for whenever we go live or put some stuff up there, new material, you get a notification. So if you like, ring the bell, you get a notice. You can read, you can watch it anytime you want. You don't have to be 5 a.m. And lately we haven't been in 5 a.m. It was a good morning. Anyway, I'm off on a tangent, aren't I? So what I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to talk about two things: an HR rule for time zones and how to build teams. I got a new rule that I want to share with you about time zones and building an agile team, or practically any team, to be honest with you, depending on what your goal is. And then the other one is any kind of tracking system, Jira, Azure, Rally, whatever. The difference between an open item and an item to do. And there's a big difference, and I think people are missing out on what the impression of that means to other people. And most people are like, oh, it just doesn't mean anything. And then some people way overinterpret what open means versus to do means. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. So there's two quick topics we're going to talk about today. And I'm Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach. This is our 595th episode where we talk about Agile and Scrum in a practical and tactical way, so you can get value to your customer, not work crazy hours, get home to family and friends and have some fun. And that's about it. So it was a little late today because we took the dogs to doggy daycare. Hopefully we'll be able to go on some trips. They're rescues, so don't know how they interact. They're kind of defensive with other dogs, so we're kind of curious on how it works. So we're doing a test at a really nice place, not too far away from here. So we had to take them out this morning and get them there situated, and hopefully they'll do well and they'll get more acclimated to other dogs. Crossing fingers, right? Hopefully it works. Knock on wood. All right. So that's why I'm late. Had a late start there and a couple daily scrums to go hop in between. So what are my topics here? Why am I saying HR time zone kind of thing and stuff like that? I wish HR would get more involved in creating teams and understand more about Agile and how they are. And I really do believe they should take some beginning introduction to Agile classes. I think all HR teams should take the IC Agile introduction to Agile class, right? And there's a couple of things that are coming out. I think Scrum Alliance is doing one. SAFe kind of does their essay course, which is good, to learn about Agile ideas, Agile thoughts. And how can HR help? I have a rule. I like this rule. So I showed up my calendar, right? Got my calendar. A lot of people have Outlook on their computer. Just to be frankly honest, they have that as their go-to email system and calendar system, right? And in there, you can pick up to 3 time zones. I would love HR in creating teams to limit the number of people on the teams from different time zones. I think it should be. This is my desire. It would be less. I love face-to-face. I would love to have a single time zone. But in this world, I don't know if that's necessarily going to be there. And if you're a worldwide company, to be honest with you, diversity from different parts of the world on your team is not a bad thing. Okay? Problem is, if you get all your product owners from one part of the world and they give you the work, then the way the work gets generated is related to that part of the world. However, you have team members that may use the product across if they had that flexibility, and that's really important, that flexibility. It'd be great if you did, but a lot of these big companies, you don't get that, right? Why do I say Outlook? Because Outlook only gives you 3 time zones to put on your calendar, which I like that because I can have where my other teams are. Problem is my teams have people in multiple time zones for each team. And when I'm coaching and doing enterprise coaching, I have teams scattered across the globe. But if you're one team, the max number of time zones, this is my rule, you can call it my Outlook time zone rule for the different located teams, right? Remote located teams is you can only do as many time zones as you can put in your Outlook calendar. How about that? Very simple, right? If we're going to hire somebody like Scrum Master, Tech, Dev, Test, Product Owner, those things, they should all only be 3 time zones. Now, I'm not saying they should be one time zone next to each other. That would be great. However, only 3 time zones. So you only have to worry about 3 times to organize when you meet and talk and discuss things. So, and you can put it all on the counter. So if someone wants to put a meeting on, they can look at all 3 time zones, see if it's really late at night, real early in the morning, or whatever, and work it out. So my advice, if you're an HR person and you really want to help your Agile teams and your organization grow, use the Outlook limit until Outlook does more than 3 time zones, then only do the 3 time zones. Now, the Microsoft, if you want to change your Outlook because of this worldwide thing to having maybe 5 time zones, because you may have customers in different time zones and things like that, that would be great. Have you ever been in a building where they had multiple clocks across? Speaking of clock, my clock stopped. It's wrong. The battery's dead or something. But they have clocks around the world, right? So that's item 1. So HR and for managers, when you go assembling your Agile squad teams, my advice is only go with 3 different time zones if you're gonna assemble a team. Maybe you do one in India, maybe one in Europe somewhere, and maybe one in Eastern United States. But don't do West Coast U.S., Central U.S., East Coast U.S., Ireland, Prague, or Czechoslovakia, or Poland, or anywhere in the Middle East, that area, and then go jump over into India and Malaysia and have somebody from each one of those time zones, because the ability for you to interact as a group together at one time is pretty much nil. Okay. Maybe you do West Coast PST time, maybe do some Malaysia time and then some India time. 3 time zones, right? Maybe you do East Coast, Central Europe, and then India. 3 time zones, right? That's kind of my recommendation on that. All right, so we talked about that long enough. Shouldn't really took that long to talk about the HR time zone thing. Now, the other one is tracking. And my pet peeve right now is open first versus ToDo. When you buy products off the shelf, most products, when you build an issue for the first time, the way their flow works, they say open. You open an issue. It's not ToDo. ToDo gets overinterpreted. Like open. I like open. Open is an open idea, open for discussion, a concept, a thought, whatever you want to listen in your system. And don't tell me, well, it should be really fun. I don't want to have 2 systems. I don't want to have a bunch of spreadsheets with a list of ideas. And then I take those ideas and I massage it and then I put it back into the system. To me, that's waste. Just put it in the system. You can clean it as you go. Because if you don't do it, it gets old. And as they get really old, you can do a filter. It's a database. A database is much better than an Excel spreadsheet, to be totally honest with you. And why open versus ToDo? There are people out there who overinterpret the English interpretation of ToDo. ToDo means this is something you're going to do. You have already made a decision that you're going to work this. The decision has been made that this is something you're going to do. To do, right? So that's what that means. Open just means it's open. Open for discussion. Open for interpretation. Open for not doing it, right? It's just, I open something. I put a little title in something, I put it there. Jumping some places will go right to ToDo. It's like, no. We don't necessarily know we're going to do it. So I like the word open. If you're going to design a system and create it, use open as your entryway for any kind of item or thought or idea or concept that teams can discuss. Don't use ToDo, because ToDo gets overinterpreted. So that's my advice for anybody who's setting up a Jira, Azure, Rally, version 1, Trello, whatever. The first step in a life of an idea or a thought or concept or issue is open. We're opening one. We don't know if we're going to do it. We don't know if it's worth doing it. We don't know if we're going to cancel it, but it ain't ToDo. My personal preference, personal thought, some concept. Be careful what you use language-wise because people overinterpret what that means, right? Like the definition done. There's a video that I like to share, and the guy's like debating. Well, is it done? Well, not really. We got to test it. Well, when you test, you kind of put no, not really. We got to make sure it goes in this other environment. We got like 5 environments before we go to production. So is it? So you're telling me it's not done? Well, but it's done, but it's not done. They get that definition when you say it's done. What does that really mean? So with that, I kind of meandered a little bit. I want to wish you all a good day. Happy scrumming. Ring the bell if you want to know when we go live or post up more materials. And again, we're going to do the meetup soon. So I'm putting together some agenda. I'm going to send some emails out to people to see if they're interested and they want to bring up some content or some thoughts on what they might want to see or experience doing a group, because we're going to build it together. And it's a big experiment. With that, have a great day. My daughter stole my thumbs up trophy and hasn't given it back to me. I think it's on the kitchen table. What are you going to do? All right. Have a great day. See you. Enjoy your Thursday. I have no dogs in the house today. Woo, woo, woo. Cats are like, no dogs? No dogs? This is awesome. We got our house back. There's no dogs. Of course, they're going to go sleep in a bed away from where the dogs would ever be anyhow. Yeah, go figure that one. And see ya.